Welcome to the Gamer Gear Podcast, episode 38. Even though that one panel does not say episode 38, I'm going to need to change that. But on this episode, I am joined by Exotic.
Hello, everybody. I am Exotic, and it's so good to be here on the Gamer Gear Podcast 38. Manic, thank you so much for having me on. I'm so excited to talk about all this awesome news that we have here today.
I wouldn't exactly describe all of it as awesome, but you know what is awesome? I say
What's that?
ironically, we have Switch Sports Golf. It is finally
Let's
here.
go.
Yeah, remember golf, the sport that was in the Wii Sports Resort and the original Wii Sports on day one, mind you.
Yeah, you know that staple addition to like every like Wii Sports, every Wii Sports game, fucking golf.
Yeah. So yeah, remember that this game came out in what, May? And
It came out like months ago, actually. Yeah, I remember
May.
like, oh damn, dude, it's really been a long time, bro.
Yeah.
It's like I know why they're doing this too. It's to like extend the lifespan of the game, you know, because they have like more new content dropping, right? To like keep people interested.
That mindset though is the whole issue though. All right. Well, why does Wii Sports need to be made into a live service online game? I'm not against having online multiplayer in it to some extent, but having having multiple unlocks, the costumes, certain cosmetic stuff, that's locked behind online. Once the servers go down, and for the Wii, the servers are currently down, you're not going to be able to play the Switch Sports and get all of the content.
Yeah, I mean DLC is always really nice to have in a game because you get like extra content. But that's exactly how I see it, like extra content. The thing about like situations like this with like Switch Sports is that a lot of the time it's more of like they're filling in the game that should have already been completed upon release.
Yeah,
It's like a weird vibe that I get from like these sort of like things that we see all the time with a
yeah,
lot of mainstream games actually. It's not even just Nintendo. But this
yeah,
is another example of it, you know, the trend continuing.
yeah. I remember I was hanging out with like some friends, and then they had their friends and all that stuff. And this one guy, he's just talking about how he played Switch Sports. This is like June, maybe, kind of closer to the launch. And like I don't know how plugged in he is into all of this stuff. Even he was saying, "Oh yeah, it's trash. Yeah, this is
Ah, bro.
bad." It's like so, and also let's not forget about the sports mates. It's like, why? What made them think, "Oh yeah, let's make these like lifeless Animal Crossing knockoffs"?
Dude, I was just about to say, like the noses remind me of like Animal Crossing.
Yeah,
Dude,
it's
I don't know,
so
dude. I think the Mii's are too iconic to like get rid of, though. You know?
yeah, and to be fair, there are Mii's in this game to a certain extent. It's just Mii heads on sports mates' bodies, so the proportions, they effectively just stay the same.
Yeah, nah. They definitely gotta if they're gonna do this like DLC type of garbage, then what they gotta do is they gotta bring back the Mii's and have them correctly proportioned, and we can customize them and all their absurdities. You know?
You know they're not going to do that because Nintendo just does stuff and then doesn't course correct ever.
I mean, it's true, dude. Yeah, it's like it's hard to get like you know we talk about all these like ideas like oh they should add like the Mii's again, right? Oh, it'd be nice if you know the games were complete upon release. You know that's like asking for too much, though, right? We just had to basically just bend the knee and consume product.
Yeah, consume product. You will own nothing and you will be happy. This is just, I don't understand what Nintendo is doing. And see, even with the most ardent Nintendo defenders, even they can't stand by this game. They'll stand by Mario Golf, maybe Mario Strikers, Mario Tennis. But this is just so obviously absurd that Nintendo would release this in the way that it. Remember, the game came packaged in with a leg strap for soccer, and soccer was not there on day one. It was not there at launch. So there was a pack-in accessory that you could not use at the game at launch.
Isn't that brilliant? Let's just yeah, let's give the fucking Switch Sports to Timmy, little Timmy over here, who's going to be having the leg strap just sit in his closet for like for a million years and just never
Yeah,
use it until they finally release it. I
yeah,
mean, this happens like again, this happens like all the time where we have like incomplete games that need to be completed via like updates or DLC patches and all this other stuff. Like it's because it reminds me, back in time, like there is not to sound too old or anything, but there was a moment in time where we didn't have the capability of updates and patches and stuff. So these games had to be put out just like as their best they can possibly be.
yeah, yeah. Like,
And that is kind of lost though.
do you remember? Because the Wii wasn't exactly capable of updates and patches, but Skyward Sword that required one. So Nintendo had to go through a bunch of hoops. That was like the only patch on the Wii that you could do. Was like it was. I think it was there was one on the eShop or yeah on Nintendo Wii, and then if you didn't have internet, which back in the time the Wii actually had internet, I did not. So, but different. Those were different days, different decade.
Yeah,
I
don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say that like updates and patches are like bad or something. I'm just trying to say is that I feel as if they're being over relied on so that
yeah,
they can put out these games incomplete and then just fix it later during like patches.
they're being abused. That's what's happening.
I mean, I see this as like, oh, if there's a bug in the game that's pretty obnoxious, or if there's a little issue with like the frame rate in a certain area that they can fix. Like
Yeah,
that seems like how it probably should normally be used, rather than oh, the game's incomplete. Let's try to add the content that we should have added to begin with.
let's
Or
fix
another
it
way that they can
later.
use it too is if they wanted to just add more content that wasn't a part of the original game. But like you have to remember that doing stuff like that isn't what's happening here. Like golf was like always intended to be a part of Switch Sports, but what they were doing was that they decided to hold off on its release. And again, like in my opinion, it's probably to extend like the lifespan of this game, so they could get people like talking about it once the new game releases.
Yeah, and by the way, I just like to point out this update was delayed. This was supposed to come out in summer, and it was delayed. And I haven't even gone to the worst part yet. All of these golf courses, they are all just remakes of previous golf courses from Wii Sports, Wii Sports Resort, uh, Wii Sports Club. Even though, and there's a sex bot in the chat. Uh oh.
Oh
Hide
my god.
user. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so this is just it's just bad. I don't understand how anybody and by the way, I like to say there was an online maintenance happening the same time this update came out. As if anybody is actually playing this online.
I again, I don't know how popular Switch Sports is actually, but I don't. It's probably a little disappointing for actual fans of this series of the sports, like Wii Sports, Switch Sports,
Yeah.
and it's probably a little disappointing to have this game come out and the golf, I should say, to have golf come out and it just kind of be a rehash of older courses that we've already seen.
Yeah. Okay, let me check how Nintendo Switch Sports actually sold. Nintendo Switch Sports debuts in Japan with nearly 200,000 copies sold. Switch outsells 3D. Okay, those are two different stories rolled into one article there, and that was
Nice,
back
we love
in
to see
May.
it.
Yeah, Nintendo Switch Sports smashes to number one, and that was on May 1st, and this is in the UK. So
I guess the UK love their Switch Sports then, huh?
yeah, and okay, this is so fun. In the article, I'm gonna need to show this on stream. So the article says it is the third biggest UK launch for the franchise. What other games are in the Wii Sports franchise? It's so
Wii Sports.
yeah, it's in Wii. So it's launching behind Wii Sports and Wii Sports Resort. So
Like the only like the other games in the
yeah,
series.
the
Oh
the
my god.
There was a game on Wii U, and it's weird because it's a remake of the first Wii Sports, but it has this weird purchase model where this was only released digitally until all the content came out. By the way, so it like they would piecemeal the different games at a time. So like it first launched with like bowling and boxing, and they added games later. But you could rent each game individually or buy each game individually, and like because I guess like parties. If you brought your Wii U to the party, you could just like buy golf for that one night. You know.
Bring my Wii U.
Yeah,
I mean, don't get
and
me wrong. I actually have brought my Nintendo Switch around at like parties and stuff.
mhm,
See, we can play like Jackbox or whatever, right?
yeah,
So I totally understand that stuff, right? But I just prefer it. You know how I prefer my games, especially in a party situation? I
how?
just want to turn it on or put the game in, turn it on, and be able just to play everything I want.
Yeah,
Like
sounds about
I
right.
want like the full access. Like I purchased the game, so I want full access to all the content.
Yeah, yeah. When somebody's over, you're trying to like play a game, and then it's just like gotta wait for an update. It's like, oh no,
Oh
oh
my
no.
god.
Yeah,
So obnoxious, dude.
yeah, yeah. It is. But so speaking, I think we've basically covered there all is to say because I don't. There's no Switch Sports defenders, so we don't even need to address them.
Nope, not at all.
Simple as. But you know, with the with this patching DLC free content stuff, it's kind of hard to say if a game releases complete and they're just adding on top of that, or it is or it's just like stuff that got cut in the game's development due to time. But yesterday, this is where I'm getting at. Sonic the Hedgehog on Twitter announced that new models, new Coco, new playable characters, more Sonic Frontiers content coming your way next year.
All for
And
59.99 then.
and actually, in the response, or in the thread, I guess a two-tweet thread, Sonic says all free. By the way,
Oh dang, I just got
so
owned.
yeah, you got owned by Sonic for real.
He's
But
fast, I'll give him that. Okay.
he's fat. I mean, I feel like that would have been like the first question literally everybody would want to address. But you see, it's a 2023 content roadmap, and normally when I see these roadmaps, it's kind of worrying. Let's just say, because did Destiny 2 ever like complete the content roadmap? Like Destiny 2, Halo Infinite, Anthem, those all had content roadmaps that were they didn't really get received all too well.
So you're just wondering if we're actually going to be able to like cross the finish line and get everything
Yeah.
out.
I mean, I feel like because it's only a year, this is a very small scale content roadmap, and let's just go over it. So, update one has the jukebox, photo mode, and new challenge modes. And I specifically am gonna like that photo mode. That's gonna be great. And update two, we don't know when these are gonna come out, but they're gonna come out next year. We don't know what time or how this is gonna be spaced out. Update two is gonna be Sonic's birthday. Uh, yeah, we're not sure exactly what that means.
I think that actually gives like a time frame of when this is going to come out.
Yeah.
Because if it's Sonic's
Oh yeah.
birthday, then does give us a time frame.
When did the original Sonic one come out?
That's a good question. Wait, in the United States or I think it's
Um,
Japan, right?
I'm not sure which one came out first.
Because let's see, it was in 1991. Okay, so in Japan it was July 26th,
Okay.
1991.
So yeah, that's around the middle of the year, so it makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah, I get that. And then update three, playable characters, plural characters, and new story. So I'm kind of just expecting like it's gonna be a mini story with the size of like one island or maybe two. But I think I think it's alluding to Tails, Knuckles, and Amy are going to be playable. If not, maybe Sage. I'm not sure how to. Sage might be the new story, because but I think that might if this takes place after Sonic Frontiers and after you kind of saved Knuckles, Tails, and Amy, I think that could be very cool. Especially if it's the kind of same mechanics they had from Adventure, minus Amy, because Amy did not play all too well in Adventure.
She's a little slow.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, on paper it was cool. You could bounce with the hammer. Uh,
Sorry, lady. This is Sonic. We like to go fast.
yeah,
We don't like going slow in Sonic games.
yeah. I mean, I'd say I like that portrayal of her just as a character in Adventure One than say in games where she needs to be fast to be a counterpart to Sonic, like in Sonic Heroes. Like Amy's not supposed to go fast. She's supposed to be the damsel in distress, basically. Like she's supposed to be helpless and weak.
But if you want to play as her, then she needs to be fast.
Yeah. Or I mean,
This is Sonic, dude. This is
I-
Sonic.
I mean, this game does have combat, so I feel like that could work with Amy.
I mean, I feel like regardless, though, I think Sonic fans have been taking like a pretty big W, recently with this game coming out.
But
It's just because they've had to take like so many L's like over the course of like Sonic's like history.
yeah,
So it's just like to see a game that everyone was praying to be good, and then for it to be like pretty decently enjoyable. I think that's a W for the Sonic fans, and to also figure out that they're going to be releasing little updates here, like along the new
yeah,
year, for them to keep like playing. It seems pretty nice. I mean, obviously, update one is more like little small things. It's more of like jukebox is probably just like music related stuff,
yeah,
which is always pretty cool because Sonic does have a lot of really good music. Photo
yeah,
mode, obviously, that's like meme potential right there. People are gonna take
yeah,
like a lot of ridiculous photos. Um, Challenge modes, that's obviously for people who want to like basically completionist games. So I mean, you got like a lot going into the updates for people who really like care about this franchise, want to play this game, want to complete it, and it seems like a pretty big W for Sonic fans. Unlike the other Wii Sports fans.
hmm yeah. I
The Wii Sports fans have been taking, or sorry, the Switch Sports fans have been taking kind of an L because they didn't get golf and golf was delayed. So
it's a Wii Sports franchise. All right, they just own Switch Sports, but
I said Wii.
yeah. See, we're at the point where at Nintendo or say what am I getting at? Nintendo keeps faltering, and then Sega's kind of rising up, maybe
Dude,
because
Sega does when Nintendo don't. I mean, what can I
Sega
say,
does
dude?
when Nintendo. Do you remember? Do you remember when there was all these rumors about Microsoft buying Sega?
I think I remember hearing something about that actually. But obviously, like, Sega is still standing strong, I guess,
Yeah,
somehow. Just
still
like
alone.
just survive the apocalypse, like the one lone tree that survives in like the wasteland.
Yeah. Yeah, because Sonic Boom was like the first real commercial failure of the Sonic series, and that was more because even '06 that sold, that made a net profit. Let's just say, unfortunately so. But Sonic Boom, to be fair, is probably because it was on Wii U, and so nobody cared about that.
I
Nobody
mean,
even.
Sonic Boom had a lot of problems outside of just the gameplay itself too, though. Like it was this new Sonic game that was reinventing the characters.
Yeah.
It was also going to be on the Wii U too, which no one gave a shit about. It was also going to be um
Yeah.
I remember that the redesigns when they first came out, people like absolutely like hated the
Because
way
Sonic had
certain
blue
characters looked.
arms. Yeah.
Yeah, they hated they hated the
Christian.
blue arms. They hated the blue arms. They didn't like the bandages around their bodies. Knuckles is like really tall and buff now.
Yeah.
Um,
And
so I know
stupid.
people, yeah, and stupid too, like incredibly dumb. I know people really hated that in the game, but I mean, Sonic Boom actually it wasn't all bad. they did have like a pretty big W for the animated show that would come out alongside
Yeah.
it too.
I
But
mean,
that
like
was actually
people found it funny in Twitter clips, but if you actually like nobody actually watched the show, and it doesn't help that Cartoon Network moved it to basically a dead time zone or a dead time slot. So it was that wasn't exactly that.
they had to make room for Teen Titans Go, dude. I mean, they had to do it.
Yeah, that is just all Teen Titans Go. But yeah, so see, we're at the point now where with Sonic, like I say, Sonic Frontiers is a good 7 out of 10, and that's considered like amazing for this franchise. Like this is like the savior of the franchise.
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, it's not like, a perfect game or anything like that. I don't think we'll ever get a game that's like, for me, for example, I don't think we'll ever get a Sonic game that's like equivalent to, let's say, something like Unleashed or Adventure,
Hmm.
but but we got what we got, and it's a pretty like decent game. It's an enjoyable game. It's rated, like you said, like I say, like a 7 out of 10. Yeah. So, and Sonic fans, they're getting updates clearly, and this is what we're going to be receiving in the upcoming year. And yeah, Sonic fans keep taking W's, dude. And the Nintendo fans just take another L, dude.
I just think that like the game's just like mostly kind of unoptimized. I feel like with mods, say just like spruce up the ground textures, increase your field, not field of view, but the the distance where you can see things. I'm forgetting what that
Render
yeah,
distance.
render distance. Especially for the stuff that's in air, for a lot of stuff. I feel like just fix those things. It's gonna be great. Like that, like bump it up a point or two.
Yeah,
And
obviously, if they could do any sort of like graphical improvements on it, then yeah, that would be actually really good for the game too.
yeah, yeah, I could see mods doing it, and also say because like with Unleashed, that was 30 frames per second when that released on PS3 and Xbox 360. But if you have an Xbox One X or Series X, that'll run at 60 frames per second. So it takes a while for the hardware to catch up with Sonic. But give it like 10 years and this will just run smoothly.
And you have to also understand too, on its original release, Unleash, actually there's some areas that it actually lags a little
Yeah,
bit on Unleashed,
a
which
lot.
is a little bit obnoxious too. But again, with little improvements via mods or maybe like, obviously that we have like better hardware to run the games on too. So with things like that, obviously it can improve the game pretty drastically. And I think that, what we have now is pretty good to like build off of with Sonic Frontiers.
Yeah, definitely. Uh, yeah, I think the game is currently like half off right now, like on Switch. I know, but this game's already on sale. So at this point, I feel like you'd probably just wait for a sale because it's already like half off for Black Friday, and I don't know if it still is currently. I know on Switch it is, but that's kind of a bit of a gimped version, you could say.
Yeah, they're gonna be playing Sonic on Switch. Oof, not a good idea, I guess.
I mean, it's not horrible. Like I played Sonic Frontiers on 30 FPS. It's not bad at all. It's not
I,
horrible.
I would suggest to people who do want to purchase it to go ahead and get it on a more powerful
Yeah.
system. You want to get the most out of your money, so
Yeah, unless you're on the go everywhere.
unless you want to take your Sonic the Hedgehog on the go, on the go,
On the go. Yeah, so
that's no good.
yeah, it's no good. Yeah, I wonder what with update 2, what is the no new Coco? What is that going to add? Like because
Maybe new Chow Garden. I don't know.
new Chow Garden. I
Yeah, just kidding.
I feel like they would advertise that like a Coco garden. Imagine
Probably it.
imagine
I mean, people have asking for the Chow Garden to return for like years at this point. They'll never do it, but we can still hope.
it'll be its own mobile game.
Oh my god, it's gonna be a mobile game. True, that's actually honestly what it'd probably be.
Or just like Animal Crossing or Toma, something like that.
Yeah,
Rip
it's
off.
gotta be something like that where it's like, hey guys, you've been asking for a new Chow Garden. Well, here it comes, like on coming to your mobile device. It's like,
Your
oh my
mobile.
god.
All right. Yeah, and let's keep going with the new content to games that already came out.
Oh,
Overwatch 2. Um, this is very much just like a live service game. So I don't think there's anything inherently bad with adding more content. There, you could say having a live service game in general is inherently bad, but I'm I feel like we've discussed that to death already. 10 minutes ago probably. So
oh, true. Yeah.
Ramatra, I think that's how you pronounce it, fights to protect his people where whatever the cost. Overwatch 2's first tempo tank is about to unleash his dynamic and lethal ability kit when he launches with Season 2 on December 6th. And Overwatch 2 on Twitter specifies 50% Omnic, 50% Nemesis, 100% tempo tank.
I
And
believe they also have one other tweet underneath it too.
okay, let me look down there. But with this little graphic, you get to see a little see like what he's capable of. So we got Void Accelerator, fire a stream of projectiles in a fixed pattern, create a barrier at the target location. There's a nemesis form, pommel punch forward, creating a wave of energy with every string. Significantly reduce damage taken from the front and reduces movement speed. Yeah, and we won't go too much in depth. It's been years since I played Overwatch, but I mean, I'm not. See, I don't exactly have any hard feelings either way. I will say the new Genji skin that looks epic.
Okay, so as somebody who does play Overwatch every now and then, I'm actually pretty excited to see another tank be added to the game. Most of the time, I believe there was like a point in Overwatch's history where we just had like a lot of damage heroes. Um, like
Yeah.
the new characters that were coming out, they were all like damage related. And if you know anything about Overwatch, people usually tend to run damage if
Yeah.
they want to play the game
Yeah.
because they just want to run around and like get a bunch of eliminations. But unfortunately in Overwatch you can't really just like do that. You need to actually have like a tank and a support like on your team.
Yeah.
So obviously nowadays they added a new support character, Kiriko, who came out along with like Overwatch 2, which really fun to play as. And then now we have another tank character who's going to be added to the game, who seems to be really dynamic in his playstyle, where he can actually switch into like different forms.
So you're saying that Overwatch 2 is actually listening to feedback.
I mean, I really hope so. I mean, we've had like, there's like, I remember, I think it was around like Ash's release when that first came out with
Yeah.
like the McCree special. Um, they were like, I know a lot of people were saying like, oh great, another damage character when like the tanks are like they've been running like the same meta like ever since like they have to like work around like all the damage characters basically.
Hmm.
So then but yeah, when we have like these new characters like Ramatra and also Kiriko, it really switches things up for the support characters or the support mains as well as like the tank characters too. So I'm actually really excited to play it because, I know a lot of people don't play tank because it's actually a really important role in Overwatch, but it can be actually really fun, especially because you have a lot of health and you're basically the one who's going to be leading your team forward and taking all the hits for everyone. So,
Hmm. Yeah, that's yeah. Just I did trash Overwatch to a healthy amount back when before leading up to its launch. And it is funny seeing the Overwatch 2 fans kind of get salty over my opinions.
I
And
mean, there's a lot of reasons why you could shit on Overwatch too. I think the most thing is just the loot box, the banishment of the loot box in
oh
favor of
yeah.
just paying for things
Ha-
directly.
how do you do something worse than a loot box? How?
You
How is
make
it possible?
everything direct purchase and then just jack up the price like a ton.
Yeah. Oh, did you hear how a keychain of the little onion thing, I forget its name, but Pachamari, something like that, right? But like if you want a keychain of that in real life, it's cheaper than getting that keychain in game.
In game.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude, it's actually hella funny if you think about it. Like we have items purchasable in game, so like virtual cosmetics for your characters that are more expensive than to actually just buy the real keychain variant of that item.
Yeah. And you know, not to
It's
mention
insanity.
you can still see the keychain after turning off the game.
Dude. Oh my god, no way. Like I see that's like the biggest like way to like actually criticize Overwatch, because I mean for me I haven't, well I have legacy credits still in my account back when it was Overwatch 1, which were transferred over. So I could technically get a skin, but I haven't bought any skins. Like at all. Like I haven't bought a single skin because they're just so ridiculously expensive. Even if they look really cool, I'm just like, bro, like this is way too pricey just for a single skin. Like I'd much rather like go back to loot boxes, and then just with loot boxes there you could earn credits just randomly, or if you get a duplicate you also get credits too.
Yeah.
And then you could save your credits just to buy a skin for whatever you choose. But now it's like you have to buy them like individually for a dollar amount. And I'm just like, yeah, I haven't bought skins. I think that's like one of the bigger criticisms for Overwatch. But obviously, they're gonna press forward with this new model that they're gonna go with, and they're gonna continue releasing updates. Like right here, we have this new character coming out, which at the end of the day, the skins, it's a problem in the game, but at the very least it's not like the skins don't give you like some sort of boost to like your character, like speed or damage or health or something like that. So they are like an optional cosmetic thing to have in the game, so at the very least they don't really have like an impact on the game itself. So I will have to say, give credit to like, okay, sure, we'll give them that. But again, like the main thing on Overwatch is you want to have fun, and as long as they're making the game fun to play, then I think it's like it's that's a good thing too. And I think this character has the potential to be really fun to play because they're going to be releasing him soon, so everyone will get to try him out.
Yeah. I So would you go back to the original loot boxes where you just got a bunch of duplicates after a while?
Yes,
Oh.
I would, because I can build credits and then purchase a skin that I really like
Yeah,
with
that's
the
true.
credits.
Yeah, I
Because
will
I
I
don't
will
have every single skin, but for a few characters, there are skins that I'm like, okay, out of like the 10 or so skins that this character has, I want to get this one specific one and then like not switch unless something else
yeah.
cool comes out. But yeah.
Yeah, because the new loot boxes after that update where it's just like less duplicates but you get more money for duplicates. That was really generous. I must say.
Yeah,
Eh,
a lot of people at the time, I remember being, a lot of people were obviously critical of the loot boxes, of course, right? Because
yeah.
loot boxes in games always get criticized. But I remember people saying that like Overwatch specifically was very generous about how they were handling the loot boxes, especially with like the credit system that they had in the game, where you can earn credits for duplicates, and the
Yeah.
loot boxes will give you credits too. So I remember people being like, "Oh, well, Overwatch has loot boxes, but at the very least, they are generous with them."
Yeah.
So and looking back, now that they're actually gone, yeah, I wish we could go back. I never complained about the loot boxes, but now that they're gone, I was like, oh dang, the thing that I never complained about is gone.
If only.
I know.
If only we could go back to loot boxes.
Oh no, we can't.
Oh
We
no.
probably aren't going to.
Yeah, unless we start like fan servers of the first, Overwatch, and then, that gets shut down, somebody else does it, the whole thing just repeats. Yeah.
Yeah, and
That
Overwatch is such a big game. That we probably won't get something pretty major like that ever happening. Like people are gonna like do that.
yeah.
Unfortunately, I would have to say. But either way, though,
Unfortunately.
we have a new character in the game who's going to be releasing out in season 2 of Overwatch 2. So that's pretty exciting too. And he's a tank too, and everybody loves seeing new tank characters.
Yep.
It's true. Support characters are the same.
All right, so yeah, let's move on to it is it's a video game tournament that the Smash World Tour. I'm not sure how familiar you are with it. I'm not all too into the pro Smash Bros scene, especially since I was a minor when Smash Bros Ultimate came out. So, if you know the Smash community and what they do to minors.
Hopefully you weren't around Naira at that time, man. She
So, wait, so
or
did
Zero for that matter too.
I've heard that they didn't actually like do the things that they supposedly did. I'm not sure.
Well, Zero is a very interesting case, which is a completely other can of worms, which is very messy. But it's not looking good for your boy. So you know,
Okay. Yeah, I haven't followed that all too closely since, like 2020 when the first things all erupted. But
yeah.
yeah, by the way, thank you Cyrus McCormick for the super sticker.
Let's go, Cyrus, dude.
Let's go.
That's the $10 in chat right there.
It's $10 in chat. All right, so this is the official statement regarding Smash World Tour 2023. And so let's just go straight to shutdown. So they say, we were not able to reconvene with Nintendo again until November, nearly 7 months after our application submission. At this point, we are only 1 month out from the championships, and we pressed Nintendo a bit harder on how things were progressing. They said it has been a very complex issue navigating the planning for commercial licensing, but they were very empathetic to us feeling backburdened, backburnered, especially given the context of Panda's messy inception and execution. Nintendo told us that there are many decisions makers involved, and some have been advocating very hard for the community, the Smash World Tour, and the importance of the relationship to grassroots organizers. We again requested an opportunity to potentially meet with some of the other decision makers. We were worried that they did not know the full context of what had taken place this year. Nintendo said they'll see what they can do, and that we should continue to meet regularly to discuss future planning. Finally, last Wednesday evening, November 23rd, we had our most recent call with Nintendo. Our Nintendo rep opened by letting us know that they are being asked to deliver the news that going forward, Nintendo expects us to only operate with a commercial license, and that we would not be granted one for the upcoming championships or any activity in 2023. We received this in writing as well. So, yeah, and there's much more. So let's just go with the conclusion. To reiterate, we are incredibly devastated that any of this happened, and given the trajectory of Nintendo, we were truly hopeful that significant positive change was inbound. However, the way the last few weeks have unfolded, we are extremely worried all of this progress has been abruptly reversed. We understand that we are not taking massive risk by even sharing all of the above details. Our goal is not to burn bridges or make an expose on Nintendo. This truly is an open letter. We genuinely are unsure of how Nintendo is aware, and we are hoping that they will reconsider their approach to the grassroots community. We will all love this community so much and have tried to represent Nintendo as well as a share of that love with millions of fans worldwide. And I'll read the last paragraph here. To close, we ask that Nintendo reconsiders how it will currently proceeding with their relationship with the Smash community, as well as its partners. We are always open to continuing the conversation, and we hope we can be part of the solution. Smash World Tour. So,
Oh boy.
yeah, this isn't really surprising at all, considering Nintendo's previous actions ever since Brawl came out. They've been going against Smash tournaments.
Yeah, they have had a very interesting and long and complicated history, Nintendo and the Smash community.
Hmm.
Again, like you just brought it up right now, but yeah, Nintendo has been pretty, I would say, pretty decently anti like tournaments, like fan tournaments.
Yeah.
Like they have done efforts to like kind of make them not happen. And so I'm not really surprised by this. I was about to say like the first mistake of this was working with Nintendo. Working with Nintendo because this thing is just not going to happen. They don't want their games to be perceived in this way and be handled this way, which is it seems like a very odd thing for them. But again, it's not uncommon for this type of behavior to go down with Nintendo. So I'm not surprised at all by this, honestly.
Yeah. I because even as recent as 2020, they shut down an online tournament, because they couldn't exactly hold it in person, and because it was using a Slippy mod to actually connect the GameCube emulated games together, and then speaking back to when Brawl came out. Like Smash Brothers Melee was not allowed at Evo because Nintendo didn't allow that stuff. I think it was like not until Smash 4 came out when Smash was at Evo, and I think 1 year they had both Melee and Smash 4 at Evo, which was actually kind of surprising.
Yeah,
So
I know. It's like, well, Melee's always been that game where people look at it like hyper competitively
yeah.
because it's been out for such a long time. People know like the metas, they know how to play it. It's been optimized to hell. So,
Hmm.
so that game's always been like super hyper competitive. But with these other games, they've had like a very like they've struggled a little bit with trying to work out in tournament settings if you're getting like Nintendo involved because obviously things are becoming more like digital and mainstream and that obviously opens up a lot of different problems for the tournaments because of that too. I mean, you could, I was just about to bring that up too. Obviously we had that online tournament that ended up getting like shut down too. So yeah, so Smash fans, taking another L, unsurprisingly. Nintendo continuing to take L's. It's like,
Yeah.
man, we've had a lot of Nintendo L's this this podcast, man.
A lot of Nintendo L's. Yeah, I don't really have much to say, but we do have another Nintendo L lined up in store. So, I think we have our final thoughts. Do you have anything else to say, or should we move on?
Um, I would just like to say that I'm not surprised by any of this from Nintendo, and I don't think that any Smash fans should be expecting any sort of change from Nintendo when it comes to how they handle Smash tournaments.
Yeah, sounds about right.
They have their ways. We know how they act. Nothing's changing. Sorry.
Yep.
The company that you buy from hates you.
Re- But another this is like technically Nintendo W, considering with the launch of over 4 million units, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet has the biggest launch for a video game in Japan, surpassing the record-breaking sales of Splatoon 3 by 600,000 units. Wait, yeah, that's actually kind of wacky thinking Splatoon
Don't
3
remind
is
me.
number 2.
Okay, so if there's anything I'm really going to talk about, it's Pokemon. I know everything about this, well, a lot of things about the series. So to see this chart, so this is launches in Japan. To see this chart, I am a little bit pleased seeing things like Dragon Quest VIII on there. Final Fantasy is obviously there as well too.
Yeah.
We also have other games like Legends, which I think is, at least deserving if there's going to be a Pokemon game to be up on there. Black and White is obviously very high.
Yeah,
Thank God.
okay, here's the thing. Pokemon Black and White 2 is not as high up, or I don't think it's even on the list. So
Yeah.
what the 3DS could have impacted that, but that's still kind of like I think Black and White 2 are the least selling or like lowest selling mainline games, which is a shame considering that they may be the best.
Wow, the generation that wanted to try to do something different with the formula didn't perform really well. Wow, it's almost like the Pokemon fans are just like complaining that they want things to be different, and then when they got things that are different, no one bought it and no one cared. Classic
Yeah.
Pokemon, dude. And this is like and this chart shows you like the clown world that we're living in. We're living in like a show. Like we're not this isn't real life. This is like a show that we're all a part of. And we've entered clown world where we have Scarlet and Violet being the number one biggest video game launches in Japan.
Yeah.
Unbelievable that this game is number one, dude.
Yeah, not to mention Animal Crossing New Horizons. That has its own share of issues. There's a bunch of content that was in newly for the 3DS that is not in New Horizons. But you could say that was just like genius timing on Nintendo's part on when that released. And then
When
Splatoon 3, that's a good game. It is good, but like it's kind of surprising that's on number 2 on this list and was number 1 until Pokemon came out. What were you going to say?
I was gonna say when Sword and Shield first came out on the Switch, that opened up a massive controversy within the
Yeah.
Pokemon community. We had a lot of people like who is that Distant Kingdom? I know he was a really
Yeah.
big guy who was critical of Pokemon. He was critical of the animations, he was critical of the graphics, the Dynamax mechanic too. There was a lot of people ever since Pokemon came to the Switch with Let's Go Pikachu, people started to become more critical of the series. And since Sword and Shield is what people would traditionally look at it as like a main series game versus Let's Go, it like exploded with criticism. And I think that people were really hopeful that with the next Pokemon game, that it would be something different. Like they would actually like put this game in the oven and let it cook for a little bit longer than they actually did. However, though, I'm not surprised by any of this though. I mean, look, we have Pokemon Legends Arceus also on this list too. If you know, okay, so 1 month into Legends Arceus's release, they announced Scarlet and Violet. It's going to be coming out later at the end of the year in like November. 1 month into this game's life cycle, and they're already announcing the next game.
Yeah.
I think that nobody's surprised by any of this, though. I mean, it's just sad, it just shows like the world that we live in, and it just shows that like how much, especially when it comes to Pokemon fans, how much they're getting like completely owned by the company that, feeds them products.
Yeah, and it's a shame how you could catch Pokemon in Legends Arceus by not battling, just throwing a Pokeball. You can try it. It may not be exactly the best tactic out there, but you could do it. And in Scarlet and Violet, that's not exactly there. And it's just disappointing that that there's not more of the DNA of Legends Arceus in Scarlet and Violet than there should be.
Yeah, and I think that's like I think like even small things that you probably like would want to have in the game. Like I know for shiny Pokemon and Legends, it would have a little jingle and stars coming out of the Pokemon when they spawn in. In this game, they're just there. There's no sound effect or anything like that. So they just show up, and it's your job just to be like, oh, that's a shiny, and just know off the, just know what the shiny looks like.
Yeah.
It's little features like that that just shows you how much the Pokemon Company, how much Game Freak, how much Nintendo just don't care about the Pokemon fans. They don't really give a damn about giving these people a worthwhile video game, worthwhile product that they can enjoy. Again, I mean, I've had this conversation multiple times where people have asked me, Exotic, Pokemon is one of the highest, or is like the highest grossing media franchise. Why is it that they can't produce a quality game? And the answer to that question is they don't have to. Because regardless if the game is good or bad, or if it was rushed or complete, Pokemon fans are just gonna like consume the product.
Yeah.
It's
Also,
the same thing with like Disney and like Apple. It's just consume product.
yeah. Yeah, sounds about right. Also, Game Freak itself has a lot of issues. Like a lot. I'm saying with structure because remember, the development team, Pokemon is the B team. And it was split when Sword and Shield when that was in development. The Game Freak was split between Little Town Hero and Pokemon. And like Little Town Hero looks good, looks better than Pokemon. But once you actually play it, it's actually a disaster, and it's bad. It's really bad. So why don't just have the entire Game Freak staff working on Pokemon. I just feel like Game Freak is not passionate about the creation anymore. We should have a different development team on Pokemon. And before
Mhm.
anybody says Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, all right,
So
yeah,
yeah.
Ilka, all right, Ilka. Did you know what they worked on before Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl?
What's that?
Pokemon Home.
Oh,
That's it.
yeah, I was gonna say
Menus.
Pokemon Home, bro.
Or Pokemon, yeah, Pokemon Home's the Switch one. Yeah, like badly designed menu. It's
It's embarrassing. I think a lot of this is also just the Pokemon Company itself. I mean,
yeah.
you have to remember that Pokemon is not just the games.
Mm-hmm.
Pokemon is the TCG. It's the anime. It's merchandise. So, well, what happens is we have the release of the new video game, and to go along with that, then we have the anime coming out, and then we also have the TCG, and then all this other stuff. So everything has to be kind of released at the same time, and but that creates problems where we have the games who, obviously we. It's not like we live in the DS era anymore, right? We
Mm-hmm.
have an era where graphics need to be really good, game mechanics need to be like fine tuned. Um, Frame rate issues need to be like none. Everything needs to be perfect. And unfortunately, they just, I don't believe that. I would agree with you that it's a problem with Game Freak 2, but I also to like would extend that to be like it's also a problem with just the Pokemon Company. Like Pokemon has become like the next Call of Duty, where we're
Yeah.
getting like a Call of Duty like every single year. And when we get Call of Duties every single year and we get Pokemon games every single year, people just are like, "Hey, look, the games are like drastically decreasing in quality."
Yeah, it's going, and I will say with Pokemon X and Y, like people definitely look at it critically now more than did at launch. But for like the animations and all that stuff, that's basically just copy and pasted on Switch.
Yeah,
They look good on 3DS. Consider that the 3DS that has like a what 360p screen. Is
yeah, it's pretty bad.
yeah, so something like very low quality. It works. All right, it's fine. It serves its purpose for the 3DS. On Switch, I would like to expect the textures on the Pokemon, that's cool. I'd like to see for the animations to be a little more dynamic. Maybe they can react to stuff when they're in the overworld. Um, maybe not just be Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, just have chibi models to like just it's so
Oh my
bad.
god. And it just it's a disappointment. It's a disappointment to Nintendo fans. It's a disappointment to just fans of video games, and it's a disappointment especially to Pokemon fans. And that includes myself as well too. Talking as well, by the way.
Yep. Yep. And by the way, with a little addendum to this, Pokemon
Oh my god.
Scarlet and Violet version 1.10 or 1.1.0 announced. Nintendo apologizes for performance issues and bugs. And by the way, thank you to the Manic News team for bringing this to my attention. It's newly formed Manic News team. Uh, so let's just oh yep, there's the tweet right there. Nintendo of America, a software update for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet version 1.1.0 will be released on December 1st. That's today when we're recording/streaming this. Please visit our website for more information. And let's see, season 1 of ranked battles will kick off. There's seasons in this now?
They've been having seasons. That was a thing in Sword and Shield as well too. It's
Bro.
it's basically like the meta. Like when the
Yeah.
season starts off, you can only use like the regional decks
Oh yeah.
and no legendaries or mythicals. And then as the season goes on, they'll allow like regionals and
Okay,
mythicals
I
and all that
see.
stuff. Yeah.
All right. Allowing you to enjoy ranked battles through the battle stadium. Please check the in-game notice for more details about ranked battles in Season 1. An issue has been fixed that causes the music to not play correctly during the battles with the Elite Four and the top champion in the Victory Road path.
How is that even
Others,
an issue? Oh my god.
yeah. So I remember seeing the Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl leaks, and if you just like buy the game day one and don't have internet, don't update it, then it's literally unfinished. Like there's a day one patch that just like finishes the game, and by finish I mean like adding music to the title screen. Basic stuff.
I know it's so like again, Pokemon fans are just like taking L's. They're getting like they're getting fed like incomplete meals. Like it's very
Yep.
sad to see. Like and again, it's like Pokemon um has groomed this consumer fan base where they will just like eat every Pokemon product that comes like their way when it comes to video games or whatever. And in this case, we're talking about video games, but again, it's sad to see so many people like buy into Pokemon and all this like BS that the Game Freak, Nintendo, and the Pokemon Company are releasing. Like they said that they take it very seriously. I don't think they do. I mean, they're making money off of this clearly. Again, this is one of the highest releases that we've seen in Nintendo.
Yeah, and by the way, in case you're saying just like, oh, it's just Japan. It only applies to Japan. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet surpassed 10 million sales in first 3 days, setting new Nintendo record. 10 million sales worldwide in 3 days.
I think it goes to show you like you don't again they don't need to have quality anymore. I don't even know if like they don't need to have like any of that sort of thing. They just need to put out product and just have people buy it. And it's sad to see because I've seen Scarlet and Violet. I see what's happening on there, and I can tell that they have the capability of producing something super interesting. But the problem is though is that it's not developed out enough.
Yeah, and by the way, I like to point out this tweet, and for our listeners here, it's a soy jack meme. I'm sure you're familiar with it somewhat. Uh, so the soy jack says you can't just redo a game, add one word to the title, and barely change anything, and it's Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. And then the soy jack soys out over Persona 5 Royal.
This meme is stupid.
Do you want to know what's wrong here?
I know exactly what's wrong here. Okay, so the difference. So Persona 5 Royal is basically the equivalent of like let's say a Dragon Quest 11 Dragon Quest 11 S
Definitive edition, basically.
Version. Like yeah, that was basically like the definitive version was the Dragon Quest 11 S or Persona 5 R. Diamond, a Brilliant Diamond, and Shining Pearl aren't supposed to be some sort of like definitive editions for the games. What they are they're supposed to be a remake of the of Diamond and Pearl for the Nintendo DS.
Yep.
And yet they're like really like they're still like terrible though, like in terms of like remakes. They have like so many problems. Not just like the fact that they're like a copy and paste of like the original games.
Yeah, it's just like it doesn't because the standard for Pokemon remakes is that it would be to the same standard of the current generation. That's what it was, and this completely breaks that because like with Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, that's definitively a Generation 6 game. You could even interact. Granted, if you don't use the megas, with Heart Gold and Soul Silver, that interacted with every single other Generation 4 game. This is a problem with the whole Pokemon Generation 8 because I don't think there's a single Game Freak Pokemon game on Nintendo Switch that actually interacts with each other. Let's Go doesn't interact with Legends Arceus, which doesn't interact with Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. And by the way,
which doesn't interact with Sword and Shield, which doesn't interact with Scarlet Violet.
Yeah, which let me be very clear. By interact, I mean like trading between games, battling, all that stuff. Because if you had Heart Gold and you had Diamond and somebody had Platinum, you could still battle each other. Even if Platinum added some new forms to Pokemon that were introduced that generation, they could still interact. But with the Switch games, there's nothing. There's literally nothing. They're all self-contained games. They only interact with each other. And in Legends Arceus, which I'd say that's probably the best Nintendo Pokemon Switch game. That doesn't even have online battling or like battling with other people at all, which is weird considering it has a cool battle system with the power style and fast style.
Strong and agile. Yeah,
strong and agile. it's so it's just so infuriating. And with Persona 5 Royal, that ad story content, I don't think Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl does that either. Not to mention that the game itself is like 100 hours long. It's a good game to begin with, and also Persona 5 Royal. That's basically just a replacement because like you can't get the base Persona 5 on anything other than PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4 when they release in 2016, 2017 if you're in America. With Royal, that's the only way to play on any other platform, which which means it is the definitive edition. Other than some translation stuff, which you could say that they censored out some stereotypes or whatever, and arguably with the gun stuff, it's considerably easier. The game in general is just considerably easier with the amount of freedom you have compared to the base Persona 5. But I'd say that's mostly just quality of life stuff. With Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, with the bottom screen, you could flip through like all the stuff, but in this sense you don't really have a touch screen or bottom screen, I should say. With the Switch does have a touch screen. You can just you have to stop the game to move your cursor on it. It's just completely just you might as well at that point just completely remove it at that point, or just because in Platinum they added two buttons to it, but since it's a Diamond Pearl remake, not a Platinum remake, you only get one button. It's ridiculous. They don't even have Platinum content in Diamond or Shining or Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl.
It's very disappointing just to have you talk and list all these problems and how much features that get taken away from us over the years that we've had. You know, it's very disappointing to hear that from you, honestly, because Pokemon fans, again, we've been taking pretty L's like in recent times with Let's Go, Sword and Shield, Brilliant Diamond. We've taken one W with Legends, and even then, it's like
It's the same
it's
way
small
that
enough.
it's like forces or not forces Frontiers is to Sonic.
Yeah,
It's like
exactly. Yeah,
only it's like a 7 out of 10 maybe, but
yeah.
it's in comparison. But here's some positive news for for you Steam users, for you those that just can't get a Nintendo Switch at all. There's a Steam Deck, and it's a Steam Deck giveaway for the Game Awards, and it's the 112 gig or 512 Steam Deck model, and it'll be given away every minute of the Game Awards live stream, and you just have to sign in. It's just like if you go on Steam, go to the you'll be able to find the Steam Deck Game Awards. And by the way, I will be streaming the Game Awards. My live reaction when that is live, I believe it is a week from now, December 8th. So, but by the way, make sure you be there and watch the stream. Last year's Game Awards stream was really funny. It got blocked in multiple countries because for some reason the Game Awards has copyright music in it because just screw over streamers, I guess. But it's good. It was funny. It was funny, and we were making fun of the Game Awards the entire way there. It was great. So yeah, be there or be square, because chances are you won't be able to see it because it'll be blocked in like 12 countries.
I mean, hey, if you have a chance to win a Steam Deck just from participating in like being like in the Game Awards,
Yeah,
I mean, shit, I'll take it, man.
yeah, yeah, and but yeah, by the way, in case you do manage to miss the streams, because it gets like struck down, remember I'm on Odyssey, Rumble, and BitChute. So yeah, just keep that in mind. In case my channel or a video or a particular video just goes anywhere, it'll always be on those websites.
Let's go, dude.
Real.
Hopefully, anyone could win one of these Steam Decks. So hopefully, I can win a Steam Deck.
Yeah, imagine one of you wins a Steam Deck because of me, and you donate to me. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. All right. Here's a here's a little funny. We gotta lighten the mood, You gotta why be so serious about Pokemon? When Final Fantasy 16 Uh, wait, let me wait. Okay? It's all yeah. There we go. Final Fantasy 16 has hate crimes, drugs, and prostitution according to age rating.
Let's
What's
go.
let's go. I
You
was
about to
about
call me baby, cause let's go.
let's go.
Let's
Dude,
go.
this is gonna be the greatest game ever. Let's see. Let's read through the article. Final Fantasy 16 will have a much darker theme than previously thought, with hate crimes, drugs, and prostitution all listed among the content that has caused the game's rating in Brazil, and that clarifies it's not suitable for children under 16 years of age. While actual details were few and far between, the world of Valisthea does not sound very pleasant. Why?
Sounds like the real world, man. Seriously.
So.
Speaking of Brazil.
Why Final Fantasy 16 got an age rating of 16 plus? The latest Final Fantasy game will have sex scenes not fully
Oh, fuck
shown
yeah.
and violent content attenuated by scenes direction. Huh? According to the full description of the game's rating on the Brazilian Ministério de Justiça site. These are the main factors behind the 16 plus age rating, though there are plenty of aggravating circumstances too. The latter includes violence with weapons, blood, intentional deaths. I like yeah, you have to in Brazil you have to clarify intentional deaths. That's torture and victims suffering, drugs, prostitution, sexual content, both shown and talked about. Hate crimes.
This set in Detroit? Like, what the fuck is this? Like,
And it doesn't go into any further detail. So the rumors say that there will be a release date reveal on December 8th, which is the same day as the Game Awards. So, another reason to watch my Game Awards stream. So, this sounds like it's going to be a very interesting Final Fantasy game. And also, it seems like so if Brazil's rating it, it seems like it's very far along in development. So,
I mean, we'll have to just see. I mean, obviously, we're not too far away from the Game Awards, so we'll have to see if this game actually is going to have all these things in it. If it does, though, I would say that's pretty base. Final
yeah,
Fantasy has always been a very popular franchise in video games. So I'm very interested to see if they're actually going to like, go through with this, or how, or to like what extent that they will have hate crimes, drugs, prostitution.
the whole theme, the whole message of the story is going to be.
We have like the triforce of like everything like bad in society.
It'll just be like, hate crimes are bad, okay? that'll be the final message. That'll be what the story leads to.
I think Mr. Business just put it good in chat. It says the trailer begins with the protagonist saying the game word.
That's
I think it'd be funny if someone just dropped like a casual slur in the game and everyone just didn't care.
did do you remember when the remake of Destroy All Humans came out?
When was that? That was
2020, early 2020, or maybe
okay.
like June of 2020, I think. But anyways, so there's like an article about it where because it uses the same audio as the original game, which means there's jokes from say 2003 in there, and a few journalists didn't like that because like. One writer, she even said she felt scared to play the game in her own apartment because it has
Oh
like,
my god.
and it was like one. I think it was ableist. I think that's what it was
Dude, just let
called.
the aliens be racist, dude.
Just they're aliens.
just let them be racist, dude.
Just let it. Just okay. Speaking of race,
Oh.
what a smooth transition. Am I right? All right. So.
Oh my god, I know.
So, you may recognize this character from The Last of Us 1, or Part 1, because the remake of Last of Us 1. It's hard to delineate. Um, do you know who she is by any chance?
Yeah, actually, she was a character from The Last of Us. So that's
Yeah. So
that's what I know.
she is Joel's daughter. All right, but she immediately dies. Remember that she immediately dies in The Last of Us One. Sorry for the
Rip
spoiler.
Sarah.
Yes, yeah. Sarah, his daughter, Joel's daughter, immediately dies. All right, and by the way, in case you don't know where I'm getting at, all right, this is what she looks like in The Last of Us, and this is what she's going to look like in the HBO adaptation of the Last of Us video game.
Oh
Nico
boy.
Nico
Yeah.
Parker is Sarah. So do you see any differences here?
I don't know, man. It's hard to tell.
I think she looks older in this one.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's what it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I really like the attention to detail where the shirt's the exact same. Like
Oh yeah. Oh wow. Yeah. I just want to say that too. I think the shirt is also the same
yeah,
too.
the lighting is, I don't know, the lighting can make it seem a little bit different, but I think even the shirt's the same color vaguely. And I love the attention to detail because she like basically is on point to what the original character is. Man, it's just is it the hair? Is it, yeah, her hair's
So
a bit
obviously,
longer.
so obviously, we have another situation where a character was race swapped,
Okay, so we're
and
not going to be ironic for the entire segment.
no, we're gonna get straight into this. A character has been race swapped. Okay,
Hmm.
and this is like something that it's not entirely new in terms of media that's happening in media. Like I think before this we talked about like Invincible being something
Yeah,
like this.
Amber from Invincible being race
Yeah.
swapped. This has happened a lot. Like, I think was it Django Unchanged, where in the book he was originally white, but yeah, Sam L. Jackson played him. But that was like early on, like in the 80s and 90s.
Actually, it was Jamie Foxx that played him. Actually,
Okay, Jamie.
yeah,
Okay,
he's in the movie. Samuel's in the movie too, but he's a different character. Yeah.
okay, yeah, yeah. Speaking of Jamie Foxx, like he was playing Electrode in the Amazing Spider-Man 2, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So
Yeah, he did actually. He did, and as
yeah,
well, he came back to reprise that role, and
yeah,
No Way Home. That's also something happened too. And
yeah.
again, we can't talk about like race swapping without bringing up the Little Mermaid remake.
Don't-
Oh my god, that has like the amount of like discourse around that is
yeah.
like absolutely like
I,
astonishing.
I forgot about that one, which is surprising considering how like toxic that got. Where
Yeah, I remember I saw this one meme that was actually really funny because like okay, so I'm a Dragon Ball fan. Okay, for the audience who has no idea who I am, I'm a Dragon Ball fan. Okay, so I
right.
saw this one meme of like a little girl like pointing at like the black Ariel and her being like, you like, oh my gosh, she's just like me. And then like contrary to that, we have like a bunch of black guys like watching Dragon Ball
Oh
and being
yeah,
excited. Like, and I thought like, dude, literally so
I
true.
know. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Okay, like I don't really have a problem with like necessarily with like race swapping a character. I mean, would I have the character try to look as closely to their counterpart? Yeah, that's mainly where I have like an issue with it. It's because I'm more of like a perfectionist who wants like their characters to look really similar to their counter or to their comic book, video game like counterparts.
Yeah.
So that's where I usually come from. I don't really have an issue with like a character like inherently like race swapping. The problem I have with this is usually just from like dipshits online from like Twitter because the discourse, like, as you said, is like extremely toxic. Like we have people who are like in the argument of the meme that I just made. We had people like going really like crazy trying to like defend
Yeah.
the black Ariel, saying about how people like finally like black girls can like relate to a character. When we have by contrary, we have a character like Son Goku, who's first off, he's an alien, and he also, but his origin of like where that property comes from is Japan, and which is kind of funny considering the fact that when Dragon Ball Super was ending, they had like massive watch parties like city watch parties for the ending to Dragon Ball Super in Latin America.
Yeah,
Latin
yeah,
America.
that like Dragon Ball is like weirdly popular in Mexico. It's it's kind of scary.
So I don't necessarily think that you have to have a character look a certain way for you to relate to them. Although it does help, because I will have to say though, like Black Panther as like a character does have that factor to him.
Yeah.
So I and of course, but again, this is like a weird area where it's like, obviously you want to have your characters look a certain way to represent their counterparts, but at the same time it's like you also want them to be good actors first off too. So
Okay, so
yeah.
to bring it back to The Last of Us. So like because Joel is being played by Pedro Pascal. So well my question is the wife or the mother, either one interchangeably, is she going to be race swapped as well, or is Joel going to be a cuckold? My wife's daughter.
Dude, wouldn't that be funny if like both the parents were like a completely different race from like, from, like their child? It just goes like completely unexplained. They just like randomly have like a different race child.
just a,
Or maybe they can have like a funny flashback where they go back to when the wife cheated.
yeah. So
And they completely make him a cock.
uh, okay. Do you think they're going to kill her off? Do you think they're really going to kill her off as quickly as they did? In the
Yes, they will.
I feel like they're willing, because she looks significantly older than I like. This isn't a race thing, by the way. Like just like from this to like to the I don't know how old Nico Parker is. I'm not familiar with her as an actress. That, by the way, let me just be very clear. No, I'm not attacking the actress at all. Okay, she didn't make the decision to be in the series or as that role specifically, but
So Nico Parker, just doing like the live research.
yeah.
Uh, she is 18.
Wow.
So yeah, she's pretty young, yeah.
Yeah.
Considering like most of these people who go into like movies are usually like a little older, you know?
Hmm.
I mean, if
Yeah.
you remember, like, but when we had like, in the first Spider-Man 1, we had like these like old people like playing high schoolers.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, but I always like I was under the perception that this would take place in between The Last of Us 1 and 2. So I'm not sure exactly like how she would be unless it's all in flashbacks and stuff, which that could make sense. Or maybe it's just starting off from square one, which also I think like if you want to get, the normies into normies that have HBO Max to watch your stuff, then yeah, that would make sense. Because I don't know. I feel like they just might have. I feel like they just might have her live. You know, I just feel like they're willing to just change that. Something inside me is just like that. They want to subvert your expectations. You know.
I think that they probably will try. Oh, you know what? You kind of changed my mind a little bit. I think that if they wanted to do like kind of like a retelling of The Last of Us, but in a more of like an episodic setting or like a movie setting rather than like the video game, they would probably stick to the storyline of that and keep things roughly the same. But if they just have like the actual like property of The Last of Us and then they're gonna make it like completely different, then yeah, I can see the story changing and different events happening, characters not dying and living and stuff to create like a new experience for
Yeah.
The Last of Us.
And to
So
be
yeah,
fair,
I can see that happening.
when it gets to the part two era, okay, I'm totally fine if they just like switch all that up. I'm completely fine with that. And
Oh my god, yeah.
and by the way, like this is like a class. I don't know. I know there's like an overused trope. But it's like, by the way, I don't like the portrayal of Ellie in or so far from what we've seen from the promo shots. I don't think she looks like Ellie either. And both the character and actress is white. So haha, checkmate. I'm not racist. So yeah, I
See,
mean,
I'm not a racist, Batman.
see,
Let me tell you something.
but yeah, Yeah, I mean, like I didn't really care about HBO, The Last of Us beforehand. I don't care now, but yeah. That, see, thing is, it only goes one way. Only one race is allowed to be swapped.
Okay, dude, we live in a society. That's all I'm gonna
We
say.
live in this. Okay, but yeah, let me address Mr. Habanero's chats before we move on.
Oh
I don't.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, he seems like he's chatted like 4 times about it. I kind of don't care who they pick to play Sarah. I just think is more concerning is why HBO is presenting Sarah as if she's a character who lives for a long time within the story. They show Sarah on the poster like, oh, look at one of the main frontline characters for the Last of Us show. It's if the intention is kill her off in like the first episode, which would be entirely accurate to the story, then what's the point of screaming this actress's name from the rooftops? I think it's going to be a classic. Hey, we want to make a show with the instantaneously make us a ton of money, so we'll take this popular IP and change the story to be whatever we want. Yeah, I think that's a very fair take.
I think that's pretty fair, honestly, too. Obviously hearing you guys talk about this, I would just imagine like most people would just kind of go for the easy route and just make it like the same story. But
Hmm.
I think what they'll probably do is change up the story to make it more unique, I guess you can say.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, it's already like The Last of Us is already a very cinematic game, and remember that Uncharted came out like earlier this year, and basically all it was just like if you just looked up Uncharted cutscenes, like mega like long play or whatever, it's basically the same experience as what you'd get seeing Uncharted in theaters. Only it's live action with Tom Holland as Nathan Drake. What that was atrocious casting. Just like
Ugh,
who made
we live in a society.
we live in a society. We live in a society where Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection will have de novo.
Oh God,
And
not the nouveau.
not de novo. And by the way, to to clear up what de novo is anti-tamper. Like basically kind of like so you don't cheat games. And by the way, these Mega Man Legacy Collection games, they're GBA games, not exactly. I think there might be like link cable compatibility. I don't know how this is gonna be adapted into like the Legacy Collection, but yeah, let's see. As part of Denuvo, the Battle Network Legacy Collection limits you to installing the game on a maximum of 5 different PCs per 24-hour period. However, this count resets daily, so it shouldn't affect most play. That I mean, that's a that's a weird limit or a weird restriction to have, but okay. Okay.
Weird restriction to have, but like, okay, Loki kind of true. Like, who the fuck's gonna have like 5 PCs?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, like if you work at like a school, I guess, then maybe it's like, hey, let's just download freaking let's download Mega Man Legacy Collection EXE for the kids. I mean that's not even applicable because like if you like who's gonna download a whole RPG just for like you're what or is everyone gonna save the same save file? That's not gonna that's
No.
gonna okay. In the past, inclusion of de novo, or any DRM for that matter, has often been controversial due to the claims it negatively affects performance. And if you played Sonic Mania on PC at launch, oh, you'd know it affects the performance. Though, seeing as these are just ports of GBA games, it doesn't seem very likely that de novo will have a big impact in this case. Remember, I said Sonic Mania. It's basically if there was a like 2D Sonic game on the Sega Saturn. That's basically what it is. And even that lagged with Denuvo.
Like, again, I want to say, I think a lot of people also don't really like this sort of like third party like DRM
Yeah,
because of the fact that people just don't like to download this sort of software onto their computers.
yeah. Like was it easy anti cheat that needs like administer access to your system?
Maybe something like that. Yeah, and people really don't like that.
Yeah, and also with like Denuvo, it's or with any like uh software software that's kind of like in there. it's basically like, oh, you have to connect online, you have to do this, you have to do that. It's basically like, hey, can I actually own the game? Can I not have these not? I have to like go through loopholes to play my own game. It's like, yeah,
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, the always online like feature that everyone loves.
yeah,
Again, also too, I see Soma and chat. No de novo equals sales. Pretty much. I
yeah,
mean, people like DRM is something that has been dragged through the mud, like pretty understandably too, because people, one, like I said, they don't want to download the software onto their computer. They want to give it access. They want to let it have access to their computer in any sort of way, and it's been their reputation has been dragged through the mud. It's like nobody likes this, nobody wants to have it, and I think that it does severely weaken somebody's willingness to purchase a game. I mean, I again with like Sonic Mania when that first came out, I know a lot of people were saying about how like, oh, the PC port is gonna have like this DRM on it, and I was just
yeah.
like, oh damn, like I know that was talk when that was being released out. I remember it.
Yeah, so like I feel like I was already more likely to get this on Switch or something of the sort, anyways, because they're GBA games. It's not
Yeah.
that intensive, so I was already more likely to get on Switch. With this news, yeah, if anything, when I do get it, it'll be on Nintendo Switch. That's
Yeah,
just
again, PC players, they're taking pretty rare L's like in this sort of situation. It's a
Mhm.
rare PC player L where we have the DRM kind of invading another game. Another pretty well-known one too with Mega Man, you know.
Yeah.
So it's very unfortunate to see this, nobody likes this stuff. Nobody wants to have this in there, so oh well.
Yeah, this article also says that like for the example in Sonic Mania, that the de novo was also later removed, and Capcom itself has also done so in the past, issuing updates that remove de novo for various Monster Hunter and Resident Evil games. Usually, this is about 6 to 12 months after release. And correction, the correction. The article says an earlier version of this post stated that Mega Man Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection was the first Mega Man game on Steam with de novo. However, Mega Man 11 also had de novo DRM at launch, which was later removed. So, even Capcom has a history of having de novo at launch, removing it later. So, just wait to buy it. Wait until there's a sale. And Mega Man, if you've seen a Mega Man game on Steam or anything, yeah, it'll go on sale.
Yeah,
Yeah.
most likely just literally just wait to buy it. If you're so like concerned about the DRM, if you really don't want to get access to like your computer, just don't even bother with it, honestly.
Yep. Sounds about right. Uh
That's all right.
yep. Yep. Yeah, and then it's also, I don't know, it's stupid because there's also volumes 1 and volumes 2 on released on the same day, which Mega Man previously did for the X Legacy collection, but not for the classic Mega Legacy collection. When I say classic, just like Mega Man Classic, because
Oh, one of those situations.
because initially Legacy collection, it was just the first 6 NES games. And because it's like legacy, and when people think of Mega Man, they think about either X or the Mega Man 2 mostly, but the 6 classic NES games. All right, that's mostly Mega Man's claim to fame. But I think the next, or it might have been 2 years later, I think it was 2017, that Mega Man Legacy Collection 2 came out, and that had Mega Man 7, Mega Man 8, Mega Man 9, and Mega Man 10. So, it's a wide variety of games there, because there's SNES, there's PlayStation 1, and there's Xbox 360 or WiiWare, but those are basically just NES games. It was
A lot of Mega Man.
yeah, yeah, just so it was like four, and it makes sense because Mega Man 7, or these games have more content than NES games, rightfully so, because they came out like years to maybe a decade later, and that's then this Capcom was like, let's do the same thing for the X collection. So they were like, all right, we're gonna release the X collection 1 and Collection 2 on the same day. And X Collection 1 has Mega Man 1 through 4, or X 1 through 4, which are considered the good games. And Mega Man X5 through X8, those are like controversial at best. I don't see a reason why if you don't already own the first X Legacy Collection, you would buy the second X Legacy Collection, cuz Mega Man X7 is widely regarded as one of the worst games, or worst Mega Man game period. It's that bad. So they're doing the same thing, but I mean, I guess that's cool. I don't know. Customize your buying experience.
I don't know. I feel like this whole podcast, we've seen a lot of fan bases take a lot of L's.
Real.
It's like we have the Mega Man fans with the DRM. We have the Pokemon fans with the incomplete Scarlet and Violet.
Well, they're willing to defend it.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, oh true, yeah, they're also they're getting screwed, but they'll still take it anyways.
Yeah.
We also have the what was the other one? It was the Nintendo Switch Sports. Yeah, there's also another one too.
Sonic took a W. Smash fans took an L though.
An L though, yeah. Sonic fans taking W. We've had like a pretty skewed. Like I think the L's are outweighing the W's in this podcast episode.
Yeah, it's so over, bros. It's so over.
It's so over, dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit unfortunate to see, honestly. It's just because of like situations like this, all combined together. It's like, dang, we live in a society, dude. We really do.
Yeah, you know how Sega on Steam has that you can buy the Sega whatever it's called, the collection, for free, but if you actually want games on it, you have to buy the game separately. It's like there's the base game where it's just basically the emulator for all the Sega Genesis games, and then if you want to add to your collection, you'd buy the game separately on Steam. And that's basically I feel like at this point Mega Man might be able to do, or Capcom I should say, was just because there's so many legacy collections, just okay, just have it all under one bridge. All right, you just have all Mega Man X, Mega Man Battle Network, whatever comes in the future, under one roof, under one exe file. Possibly, I don't know.
I think it's very disappointing. We live in a society.
Yeah. Oh, and Yoshkin says in chat, Splatoon fans with a W.
I was just reading that too, bro. Oh my god.
Yeah, you know what's happening with Splatoon 3?
I mean, I guess you could say Splatoon fans have been taking a W, I guess.
I mean, it's an alright update. I played a little bit of it. It's fine. It's the chill season. That's what it's called. I don't think I actually pulled anything up for the chill season. Let's see. MyNintendoNews.com. We're gonna do it live. All right. So yeah.
Live research.
Yeah, we'll just we'll cover the new content, and then I think that'll be good for Splatoon 3. Cuz I played it briefly, not too much. So yeah, so if we go through the changes and additions, because this is the first update that really came out that added something to the game. I don't think we really got new weapons yet, or new maps or whatever, which is a weird 2 months after launch. That's kind of a weird amount of time. But season and catalog changes. A new catalog with new gear, titles, splash tags, decorate, all the stuff. About 50 new items added to the store product lineups, 2 new battle stages, Brine Water Springs and Flounder Heights. And if I'm to be believed, that one of them, at least one of them, is from Splatoon 1. A new Salmon Run stage, Marooner's Bay, 3 new main weapon types, 10 new sets of existing main weapons paired with different sub and special weapons. So basically these are all variations of previous weapons with different grenades and specials or ultimates, however the FPS terminology is.
Well, let's not also forget about the 13 new table turf battle cards.
Let's go! Let's go. Okay, the ability to look at the content of your catalog has also been added. That's actually kind of good. Change the multiplayer. Okay, that's a bunch
Wow.
of minute stuff, but gameplay stuff. Yeah, so good update.
Yeah,
It's
okay, yeah, okay. I'll give it to Yosh Ken. Yeah, Splatoon fans been taking a pretty nice W on this one. It's
I mean,
um, I
I
think the only like L this is Splatoon fans have like taken so far is getting outbeat by Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, which it's more of like a complete like like upset though.
yeah,
Like it's like a clown world. Like I would say
Clown World.
yeah,
To
it's
be
clown
fair,
world.
I wouldn't have expected Splatoon 3 to like sell faster than Animal Crossing like
What can
that.
I say, man? The Splatoon fans love their games, dude.
Real. Real. Yeah, I mean it feels like such a long time between release and this update that it's sorely needed because basically Splatoon started the whole update everything later thing for Nintendo because that was like the first success with it. You could argue the slippery slope from Splatoon to Nintendo Switch Sports.
Ooh, I guess so, man. Like, I don't know, bro. Like Nintendo, they have like a really annoying way of handling this shit, dude. Like, dude, if we keep having this, bro, like they got me talking like an inkling right now, dude. Seriously. I'm about to start making a bunch of like weird noises and shit.
Wow,
Like,
wow, wow.
yeah,
Real.
they got me talking like an inkling right now. We've had to deal with
Yeah.
like a whole bunch of like all this garbage. We had to deal with, like DRM, the Switch Golf coming out like 10 years later,
Yeah.
Scarlet and Violet unfinished.
Real. Real. And I think and also the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe update is next week. So
Oh, okay. So they're gonna
yeah.
have that next wave of like
Yeah.
the new
The next
course.
wave.
Yeah.
Yeah, the next wave of tracks. So yeah, that's cool. But that is all that we have to cover for this episode of the Gamer Gear podcast. Thank you so much for Ex-
Exorcist.
Exorcist, yes.
Exotic.
Exotic for coming on. Yeah. Yeah, by the way, link I already gave you the wrench, so if you want to link your channel in the chat, go ahead. And
Cool.
yeah, and this is where we'll be cutting it off for the audio only versions. But if you're still live with us on YouTube, I'll stick around a little bit to chat because I want to address these chats at towards the end.